Hey, just a quick update. So, last night I kind of almost had a lucid dream. So, as I was waking up from a REM cycle, I decided to do a reality check and found that it was a false awakening. Uh, and so the plan was to get out of bed and start flying around. But I couldn't get out of bed. So, what was happening was, and this is kind of a regular thing for false awakenings is that I just can't get out of the bed like I'm trying. In this case, I was trying to push the blankets off me, but they kind of kept sticking to me. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's kind of like a loop. Like it seems like you got the blanket off you, but it's still on you. And what I should have done there, I think, is I should have um, just closed my eyes and pictured a new environment until the dream would have changed. If not, to the environment I was picturing, it would have changed to something random. I've actually done that, I think, at least once, if not a couple times. But I wasn't, my mind wasn't really all there, like you can be lucid in a dream, you can be aware that you're in a dream, but sometimes your mind really isn't still all there. You're not really thinking super straight. So today, I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna eat this orange before I go to bed right now because I think fruits really help you to think straight. Um, and I can talk more about that in the next video that I make about how I've been experimenting with brain foods and just the idea of eating healthy foods to help your brain function. But yeah, that was just a quick update, and I'm about to go to sleep and see what I can do. All right. So it's the next day. I didn't have a lucid dream after all. I made sure to reality check after waking up from every REM cycle to check for false awakenings, but didn't have those either. So the reason I tried having an orange first, that was my first time trying that, was because lately I'm in college now, as I mentioned before, and I started noticing that after a few hours of studying, I would have a lot of trouble focusing. So I looked up brain foods, and the main four things off the top of my head that come up in pretty much every list are fatty fish, nuts, berries, and caffeine, so coffee or tea. And so I started having a good helping of those every day, and it definitely helped a lot. But I also found that fruits. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, that happened in my last video too. So I also found that just fruits in general, they seem like they tend to help. Like I think one day I just didn't have any berries in the house, but I had apples and oranges. So I looked up, are oranges good for the brain? And short answer that I got from Google was yes. And I checked for apples too. Turns out those are good for the brain too. And pretty much any type of healthy food I could think of, I Googled, is this healthy food good for the brain? And it would always be yes. So what that tells me, and I'm no nutritionist, so don't take my advice as gospel, but what I have found, in my opinion, is that pretty much any food that is healthy for your body is also going to be healthy for your brain. And I think that's because your brain and your body they're like this. They're one system. They're not separate. They depend on each other. So I think if the rest of your body is going to be running smoothly, I think that's going to be good for your brain in general. So and and the other day, the day before yesterday, I was having trouble studying. It had been a few hours, like more than half of the day had gone by, and I was starting to have trouble focusing. And so I said, well, I got to try something. I didn't have any berries, and I didn't want to have caffeine because it was already, I don't like to have caffeine in the later half of the day because then I have trouble falling asleep. Excuse me. So didn't have any berries. There was no caffeine, or I couldn't have caffeine. Not that I couldn't, but I didn't want to. And there was nuts, but I have found that nuts don't have a super immediate effect. But they might have an effect over time. I'm sure they do. But anyways, so I decided to just try having an orange and see if that would help with my focus, and it definitely did. I noticed a huge difference. So that's why I was hoping that having an orange before I went to sleep last night would help me lucid dream. Didn't though. But tonight what I want to try is having blueberries before I go to sleep. Maybe that'll help. So yeah, that's pretty much that. There was something else. Oh yeah, I also wanted to update you on what I've been doing meditation-wise, because I do think that it affects lucid dreaming. Obviously, I've made my opinion clear that I think it's a big help to lucid dreaming. So it used to be that what I would do for meditation was just a very bare bones kind of mindfulness meditation. I think that's the term they use to describe what I'm talking about. Basically, I would just focus on something. For example, you might focus on your breathing. Normally, I don't do that. I just focus on sounds that I hear. For example, I turn the fan on because it's most of the time it's hot where I live. Turn the fan on, and I kind of just focus my attention on the sound of the fan. And that's pretty much it. And then I try to not have thoughts, like I try to, if I start thinking, what do I want to eat? That's the classic example, or, just anything. I try to redirect my focus back to the fan. So that's what I used to do. It's a very basic type of mindfulness meditation. But a few months ago, I started doing chakra meditations, specifically chanting what are called the seed mantras, SEED, seed mantras, or I think the Sanskrit name I think is bija mantras, BIGA. If that's your native language, I'm sorry for butchering it. Anyways, yeah, so I've been doing that. And what I've been doing is waking up and meditating for half an hour is what I've gotten to. I started smaller and I worked up to it. But yeah, so yeah, I've been doing half an hour every morning. For the first couple of months, I was just doing the root chakra. And I built up. At first, I only did like 9 chants of the mantra for the root chakra, but I built it up over time, and then eventually I was doing 108, which is I guess just the recommended. I think 108 is supposed to be like a sacred number in this tradition. So I did that for a couple of months. I didn't plan to, but I ended up having to tweak my routine. It ended up being a couple of months, long story short. And recently I started, within, actually I can tell you right now because my calendar's right here. Today is the 10th? I believe 2 weeks ago from today, I started chanting the next chakra up from the root chakra, which is the sacral chakra. So I've been doing that for a couple weeks. I'm still not doing 108 of those yet. Today I started doing 54 of those. So I'm going to work up to 108. And yeah. So I plan to, for probably it'll take about a year, 14 months maybe. For the next 14 months I plan to be doing this chanting meditation for half an hour a day in the morning. and starting obviously from the root chakra up to the top chakra, which is the crown chakra. Now, when I started this, I definitely believed in chakras. And that doesn't sound very promising when I say that out loud, but I've just been developing a more skeptical mindset lately. But whether or not the idea of chakras is true, I think that it is still possible that doing this chanting meditation is beneficial to brain function. Maybe it's not because you're opening your chakras necessarily. Maybe it's because you're strengthening your central nervous system, because all these chakras are supposed to be along your spinal cord as part of your central nervous system. It's connected directly to your brain. Maybe, I don't know, but I'm trying it. I already started it, so I intend to finish it because that's become a very strong matter of principle for me, is trying to finish what I start, and making a genuine effort to do so. So yeah, I'm going to finish it. And they say that the third eye chakra is supposed to help with lucid dreaming. So I guess in a few months when we get there, we'll see if it does. But yeah, now I've updated you on two things. And I'm probably gonna make this just its own video. This along with the thing from last night that you've already seen, because you're watching the video as we speak. Because I don't want it to get too long. But anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.